Good morning, y'all. Thank you for tapping in for some real talk from the heart this morning. This morning's real talk is from the book of Amos, Amos chapter 5 and verse 8. Let's get into our real talk this morning. He made the Pleiades and Orion. He turns the shadow of death into morning and makes the day dark as night. He calls for the waters of the sea and pours them out on the face of the earth. Yahweh is his name. This passage this morning, I hope not to go too long because these are supposed to be short devotions, but this is an area of the scriptures that I'm very passionate about, and it's the area of creation and God's intelligence and God's will and purpose and God's abilities, really. The concepts of God, man. Can God do that? Here it says that he made the Pleiades and the Orion. You know, the Lord made the constellations or the star clusters that are known today as the Pleiades and Orion, and of course the entire universe. The Lord created the universe. The universe did not create itself. I mean, that is just philosophically and logically impossible. Nothing cannot create something. It takes an outside force, right, to do that. The Lord created, as it says here, he calls for the waters of the sea and pours them out on the face of the earth. There is such a thing called the hydrological system, right? Now, many people who work in those industries that deal with water and the weather and such, they know all about this, right? Weathermen, meteorologists, they know about the hydrological systems. And there is a pattern to them that again is acted on by an outside force. The winds move across the oceans and they stir the waters, and the water evaporates, forms clouds. Those clouds come on land and they fall, depending on where you are, right? Either in the form of rain or snow, and then those waters will flow down those mountain ravines and things down to tributaries, and those tributaries will make it to the rivers, and the rivers will make it to the bigger rivers, and those rivers flow out to the oceans, right, or the seas, depending again on where you are. The Lord created the hydrological systems of the world. Evolution cannot explain the hydrological systems of the world. I live in the beautiful Pacific Northwest, and we, of course, on the west side of the state get a lot of rain, but we do get snow in the wintertime. And again, that water picks up out in the Pacific and it flows and it falls in the Olympic mountain range. It falls in the Cascades, rain or snow, goes down those tributaries into those rivers. The Yakima River, which is actually just not too far from me. I live about 2 miles from the Yakima River. Those waters flow into the Yakima River, right, way back up there in the Cascades. And the Yakima River actually flows out to the Columbia River and empties in the Tri-Cities. And then that loops around. The Snake River joins the Columbia, and then the Columbia heads back out to the Pacific Ocean, and it happens all over again. Evolution cannot explain that. And that is what you call design. God designed the hydrological system so that our area can have water, and obviously water for our crops. We grow some of the best crops in the world here in the Pacific Northwest. Wikipedia. You got to be careful of the knowledge you seek. That's something my dad used to tell me when I was young. There's a lot of knowledge out there. There's a lot of supposed knowledge out there, pseudo knowledge, and you got to be careful of the knowledge you seek. But Wikipedia says that evolution is both a fact and a theory. And think about that. Wikipedia says that evolution is both a fact and a theory, and that evolution has occurred, is still occurring, and then they say that it is undisputed. You know what? Those are lies right there. Those are lies. Evolution is not a fact. And it is indeed being disputed. It's being disputed by reputable scientists who haven't drank the Kool-Aid, as they say. The theory of evolution has not been proven. It is still a theory. There are no transitional fossils. Natural selection plus mutation does not equal mankind. Natural selection proves survival, but natural selection does not prove arrival, right? They need to get that straight. Random mutations do not increase the DNA information. Random mutations actually reduce the DNA information. The theory of evolution wants us to believe that the DNA information in the first simple cell was changed and augmented over billions and billions of years to produce all the different kinds of plants and animals and people, right, that we see today in the fossil record and just in what's alive today. They want us to believe that from one living cell, all this came to pass. My question to the evolutionists is, listen to this. How did the DNA information for the supposed first living microscopic creature come into existence? Where did the DNA information come from for the first protein molecule? Where did that information come from? How did it get there? Who put it there? How do you explain that? You can't explain it. So when you look at this, you guys, and this verse says that God created the constellations, right? God created the hydrological systems. Intelligent design is a better explanation than billions of years and random chance, accidental combinations. Guys, listen, that is a fallacy. It is a lie. It's false. Intelligent design is a very better explanation than billions and billions of years and random chance, accidental combinations. Beloved, you are not an accident. You are not an accident. You were made on purpose and for His purpose. You are a blessing. You're not a burden. You were made for His glory. You were made for His story. For those who reject Him, as this passage says, I want to read it to you. He makes the day dark as night. Those who think they have day, those who think they have light, man, the Bible says He can allow them to live in that darkness. As 2 Corinthians 4:4 says, right? The God of this age has blinded them, lest they should believe in the glorious gospel of Jesus Christ. That's where that darkness comes from. The darkness comes from unbelief and not believing in the Creator, not believing in the Lord. And so God says He can turn that day into darkness of night. But the other part of this verse, guys, listen, this is what it says here in this verse. It says He turns the shadow of death into morning. For those who humble themselves, those who turn from their sin, those who turn to Him in faith, He can turn that shadow of death into morning. Ephesians 2 says, man, we were dead in our trespasses and sins, but we've made alive through Jesus Christ, man. He made us alive. He made us alive. Now, creation itself, man, I'm looking out here, beautiful, man. The lower Yakima Valley, beautiful, man. No accident. No accident. A design of the Creator Himself. He made it. And He put me here to enjoy it. And that I can worship Him, listen, through it. But it all goes back to the fact that Jesus Christ, the Son of God, paid for my sin. And because He turned that shadow of death, right, into new day, man, I can rejoice in today, the day that the Lord has made. I can rejoice in. And I hope that you'll choose to rejoice in that as well. Thank you for tapping in for some real talk from the heart today. Don't forget the Lord loves you. I love you too. And I'm praying for you. I ask that you please be praying for me as well, man. Salute. Have yourself an amazing Wednesday.